The galaxy had long forgotten the name of Earth. The ancient record spoke of a small blue planet that burned itself into silence centuries ago. The great councils of alien empires spoke of its fall as a reminder to all species that uncontrolled ambition leads only to dust. None expected humanity to return, much less return with warships that could bend light itself. The first sign of their reappearance came quietly. On the outer edge of the Zelran Dominion, a deep space array picked up a signal. Steady, rhythmic, mechanical. The signal did not match any known code from the Council archives. It repeated itself every 10 seconds with mathematical precision. The technicians first thought it was a cosmic echo, a distortion caused by radiation storms. But when the signal grew stronger instead of fading, they realized something was moving closer. The commander of the station, Valar, ordered his crew to focus every scanner they had. The results arrived minutes later, and what they saw did not make sense. The readings showed an object moving faster than any drive known to the Dominion. It wasn't using hyperlanes, wasn't bending space through wormholes. It was traveling directly through normal space and yet outrunning light-based sensors. The commander frowned, wondering if the system was malfunctioning, but the object slowed. A shape appeared, cold, metallic, sharp-edged. It looked like a long black spear gliding silently through the stars. It had no energy signature, no thermal trail, no transponder code. The technicians whispered that it looked dead. But as they stared, the spear began to rotate slowly, as if acknowledging their observation. Then a voice echoed across the communication band. Unidentified vessels detected. This is Terran Warship Resolute. You have entered a restricted human observation zone. Identify yourselves. The entire command deck froze. The translation algorithms tried to process the signal, but the machine struggled. The language was old, a dead pattern. One of the officers recognized fragments of an ancient Earth dialect. They had seen such patterns only in the oldest digital ruins of extinct human colonies. The word Terran hit them like a thunderclap. The Dominion had believed humans destroyed. Yet here was a voice speaking in their name. The commander ordered an immediate retreat signal to the fleet, but before it could transmit, another distortion appeared on their scopes. More objects materialized. 4 or 5, then a dozen black warships emerging from silent folds in space. They formed a perfect formation. No deviation, no visible engine flare. The Dominion fleet arriving to investigate found themselves surrounded by vessels that emitted almost no detectable energy. The flagship of the Dominion fleet, Varen's Will, sent a transmission. Unknown vessels, this is the Dominion Defense Fleet. Identify your species and state your intent. For a long moment, nothing answered. Then the voice came again, calm and steady. This is Captain Hale of the Terran Defense Command. Your fleet has entered our re-emergence perimeter. You will alter course and leave immediately. The Dominion Admiral, a seasoned veteran of 100 border conflicts, refused to be intimidated. Your claim has no standing. Humanity was declared extinct over 600 cycles ago. You are trespassing in Dominion space. The Terran ships did not move. Sensors scanned them again, but every attempt returned scrambled data. Their hulls reflected nothing. Their drive emissions were invisible. Even mass readings fluctuated as if the ships were not entirely within this dimension. The Dominion flagship prepared a warning shot, its plasma batteries charging. Bright blue light filled the darkness. Before the Admiral could give the order to fire, his tactical officer gasped. The Dominion sensors began to malfunction one after another. Every display filled with static. Magnetic readings twisted into chaos. Gravitational sensors spiked without pattern. The entire sensor grid collapsed into white noise. When the screens finally cleared, the Terran ships were gone from sight. Then, just as suddenly, they reappeared, much closer. The fleet's formation was surrounded. No one saw them move. It was as if they had folded space itself. A calm voice from the Terran flagship came again. We request disengagement. Do not force escalation. The Dominion Admiral hesitated but refused to retreat. He had fought against pirates, rebels, and enemy armadas, and never had he been outmatched by invisible ghosts. He ordered his fleet to open fire. The void filled with blazing light. Plasma bolts and antimatter rounds cut through the darkness. The Dominion ships unleashed their full fury, saturating space with energy so intense it could vaporize moons. Yet none of the Terran ships were hit. Every projectile passed through empty coordinates. The enemy moved faster than targeting computers could track. Then the Terrans responded. A single pulse of red light flashed from the lead ship. The Dominion fleet watched their flagship's forward armor ripple like liquid. A second later, every Dominion ship lost power simultaneously. The silence that followed was absolute. Inside the Dominion command bridge, alarm screamed as control panels flickered out. The Admiral demanded a status report, but the crew shouted over one another. Engines offline, weapons disabled, communication dead. The Terran ships hovered silently, still giving no visible sign of aggression. Yet their presence alone pressed like a weight on every living being who looked upon them. Through a single surviving transmission line, the Dominion Admiral spoke.
"What are you? How did you do this?"
Captain Hale's reply came without emotion. We learned. We adapted. We remembered. The Dominion crew could feel the words more than hear them. Every syllable vibrated through the hull like a low thunder. The Admiral's second officer tried to reactivate long-range comms, but nothing worked. Every system that relied on electromagnetic waves had been locked out. The Terran fleet had somehow seized control of the surrounding vacuum itself. And then the sensors started to recover. But the readings made no sense. Space around them appeared distorted. Distances fluctuated. Stars bent in impossible angles. Timestamps desynchronized. The Dominion fleet's most advanced instruments could not even confirm if they were still in their original sector. It was as though the Terrans had wrapped the entire battlefield in a cage of invisible gravity. Inside one of the Terran ships, the crew worked in calm precision. They were descendants of those who had fled Earth's collapse. Centuries of exile had hardened them. While the galaxy dismissed them as lost, they had rebuilt in silence, hidden within dark zones unreachable by normal drives. There they had learned to manipulate quantum folds and gravitational harmonics. What others called impossible, they called standard. Their mission was not conquest. It was to protect their kind's return to the stars. But if challenged, they would show the galaxy why humanity had once been feared. Back on the Dominion flagship, the Admiral refused to surrender. He ordered his engineers to reroute manual control to one cannon that still functioned. He aimed it directly at the nearest Terran ship. The weapon fired, a bright streak cutting across the dark field. The shot vanished halfway through its path, absorbed by a shimmer of light. The crew gasped as they realized the beam had bent around the Terran vessel, curving away like a river around a rock. The Admiral could not believe it. "They are bending light itself," he whispered. The Terran captain finally gave his last warning. "Do not force us further." But the Dominion Admiral, bound by pride and law, raised his head. "The Dominion does not retreat," a soft hum answered him. The Terran ship released another pulse, but this one was different. No explosion followed. Instead, every Dominion sensor registered a sudden spike in gravitational pressure. The fleet drifted helplessly, their drives unable to resist. One by one, their ships began to spin out of formation, trapped in invisible currents. When the Terran pulse ended, the entire Dominion armada hung motionless. Every reactor had been safely deactivated. No ship was destroyed, no life lost. Yet every system was frozen in stasis. They could not even move a thruster. The battle had ended before it began. Captain Hale's voice came once more, calm and final. "Return to your worlds. Tell them humanity does not seek war. But know this, we will never again kneel before any council or dominion." The Terran ships began to fade, not jumping to warp, but dissolving into thin mist, as if reality itself had released them. The Dominion fleet remained adrift, silent and broken. Hours passed before rescue arrived. When engineers finally restored partial power, the sensor records were reviewed, and what they found terrified every scientist. According to the logs, the Terran ships had not moved through space at all. They had moved through time itself, existing in microseconds where the Dominion fleet simply did not. Every scan confirmed the impossible. The human ships had mastered a form of movement that bypassed both distance and dimension. News of the encounter spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The great powers gathered in fear and disbelief. Some called it propaganda. Others called it the awakening of an ancient species. No one could explain how humanity had returned, or why they now possessed power beyond understanding. In the following weeks, countless fleets were dispatched to search for them. None found a trace. The regions where the clash occurred showed residual distortions, tiny ripples in space-time that refused to fade. The Dominion tried to deny the defeat publicly, but the evidence spread across trading networks and data markets. Every civilization that heard the story began to question their safety. For generations, the galaxy,